My life, after Sarah, became a quiet, empty room. It wasn't just that she was gone. It was like a piece of me had been ripped out too, leaving a gaping hole that echoed with silence. Every morning, I'd wake up, and that dull ache would be there, a constant reminder that the vibrant world we'd built together had faded into muted colors. Life felt desaturated, like an old photograph where all the warmth had drained away. I went through the motions, but it was like watching a movie of someone else's life, someone who looked a lot like me but felt nothing. Loneliness wasn't just a feeling, it was a physical weight, pressing down on my chest, making every breath a little harder. Then things started getting weird. It began subtly, little things I dismissed at first. I'd be in the kitchen, and a mug would slowly slide a few inches across the counter, just enough to catch my eye. I'd turn my head quickly, and there'd be a fleeting shadow in my peripheral vision, gone before I could focus. I told myself it was my grief, my mind playing tricks. I was tired, stressed, maybe even losing it a little. The feeling of being watched, though, was harder to shake. It was a persistent prickle on the back of my neck, even when I was alone in my house. It wasn't a scary feeling, not at first, more like a gentle, constant presence. My dreams became a different kind of reality. Sarah was there, in vivid detail. Her laugh, the way her hair fell, the scent of her skin. It was all so real, clearer than waking life. She'd speak to me, but her messages were fragmented, like pieces of a puzzle. Sometimes it was just a feeling, a deep sense of urgency. Other times, she'd point to something in the dreamscape, something that always caught my attention. A red planet, impossibly large and close, looming in the dream sky. It wasn't Mars as I knew it from pictures. It was alive, pulsating with an inner light. I'd wake up gasping. The image burned into my mind, the feeling of her presence fading too quickly. The natural world around my house seemed to join in on the strangeness. Birds, usually scattered, would gather in strange, perfect formations on my lawn, all facing the same direction, as if waiting for something. Deer, normally skittish, would stand in my backyard, staring directly at me through the window, their eyes unblinking and unnervingly intelligent. It was like they knew something I didn't, like they were reacting to an unseen presence, a shift in the air. The veil between worlds, as they say, felt thin. I knew deep down this wasn't just my imagination or the world suddenly going mad. Something was definitely happening. Then the numbers started. They were everywhere. 11:11 on the clock every time I glanced at it. 3:33 on license plates, on receipts from the store, even in the random numbers generated for my online banking password reset. It wasn't just once or twice. It was a pattern, an undeniable sequence that repeated itself countless times a day. It felt deliberate, like a code, a message I was supposed to decipher. It was too precise, too consistent to be random chance. A dawning realization began to settle over me, heavy and exciting. Something extraordinary was unfolding around me, and these numbers were part of its language. An inexplicable urge to draw started taking over. It wasn't something I normally did, but suddenly I had to put pen to paper. The symbol would appear in my dreams, a complex geometric pattern that seemed to shift and breathe. I'd see it in the way the birds formed on the lawn, or in the reflection of light on glass. It was a spiral, but not just any spiral. It had intricate interlocking lines and smaller symbols embedded within it. I'd sketch it again and again, each time adding more detail, almost as if my hand was being guided by an unseen force. It felt like destiny, like I was being chosen for something profound, something connected to all the other strange events. The first glimpse of something truly unseen hit me one afternoon. I was looking out my window, watching the rain, when the air above the old oak tree shimmered. It wasn't heat haze, it was like the light itself distorted. Then for a split second something flashed. A form, not solid, but a ripple of energy, a brief outline of something otherworldly. It was gone as quickly as it appeared, leaving behind only the normal view of the rain-soaked tree. I questioned my sanity, of course. My mind tried to dismiss it, but the vividness of the experience was undeniable. It wasn't a shadow or a trick of the light. It was a brief, undeniable presence. The tension in the air grew, a feeling that I was on the precipice of something life-altering, something I couldn't understand but knew was real. An unsettling premonition settled over me. The feeling of being watched wasn't just a prickle anymore. It was intense, almost suffocating. The air grew heavy, thick with an inexplicable energy that made my skin tingle. My dreams became more urgent, Sarah's messages clearer now. Not just fragmented symbols, but distinct warnings. She spoke of a coming encounter, an arrival that would change everything. I felt poised on an edge, the world I knew about to crack open, anticipating the arrival of something beyond comprehension. I knew it was coming, and I knew it was going to be big. I was jolted awake by a sound I couldn't place, an intense vibrating hum that seemed to resonate not just in the air around me, but deep within my bones. It wasn't loud, but it was pervasive, a low thrumming that filled the silence of my bedroom. Then a soft, pulsating light began to seep into the room, not from the window, but from everywhere at once. It wasn't harsh, more like a gentle glow that cast long, shifting shadows across my familiar furniture, making everything look alien and new. The air around me became thick, heavy with an unknown energy, almost electric. My hair felt like it was standing on end, and a strange tingling sensation spread over my skin. A profound fear gripped me, a primal terror that made my heart pound against my ribs. But strangely, an inexplicable calm settled over me at the same time, like I was meant to be experiencing this, like it was a natural progression of all the strange things that had been happening. From the heart of that pulsating light, a figure began to materialize. It wasn't a monstrous shape, not something out of a horror movie, but something ethereal and incredibly graceful. It was tall, slender, its form shimmering, almost translucent. Its skin seemed to absorb and emit light at the same time, making it glow softly, like moonlight on water. What struck me most were its eyes. They were vast, deep, and held an ancient wisdom within them, reflecting the cosmos like tiny galaxies. There was no mouth, no discernible facial features beyond the eyes, yet a profound sense of peace emanated from its presence. That peaceful feeling was so strong, it completely overrode my initial fear, replacing it with a sense of wonder and curiosity. There were no spoken words, no sound from the being, but a direct transfer of thoughts and feelings into my mind. It was like a conversation, but without any language barriers, just pure understanding. The alien's intentions were clear, not to harm, but to guide. A gentle, comforting voice echoed in my mind, not with sound, but with meaning, carrying a message of urgency and shared destiny. It was a voice filled with compassion, a sense of immense patience. My initial shock at this telepathic communication gave way to a strange understanding, a feeling that this was how communication was supposed to be, direct and unfiltered. I knew, without being told, that this being was here for me. The alien extended a hand, not a physical hand like mine, but an energetic projection, a shimmering, translucent form that pulsed with the same soft light as its body. It was an unspoken invitation, a clear signal to embark on a journey of unimaginable scope. I felt an undeniable pull, a magnetic force drawing me towards it, a sense that this was what all the previous signs, the numbers, the dreams, the drawing, had been leading to. It wasn't a choice in the traditional sense, but more like the presentation of a path that, once seen, felt like the only path forward. My life had been unraveling, and now here was a new thread, stronger and brighter than anything I could have imagined. Then the alien projected an image directly into my mind. It wasn't a picture, but a full sensory experience. A vibrant, bustling city, alive with energy and light. It was clearly not on Earth. The architecture was unlike anything I'd ever seen, organic and flowing, bathed in an otherworldly light that was both soft and brilliant. The sky above it was a deep, impossible red, and I instantly recognized elements from my most vivid dreams, specifically the recurring red planet that had loomed so large in my subconscious. A wave of familiarity washed over me, a strange, unsettling feeling of having seen this place before, of knowing it intimately, even though I knew I never had. It was beautiful, awe-inspiring, and strangely comforting. A sensation of being lifted came next, but it wasn't physical. I didn't feel my body move, but my consciousness, my very being, ascended. The room around me faded, dissolving into a swirling vortex of colors and light, like a cosmic kaleidoscope. I felt an immense speed, rushing through something vast and formless. Yet paradoxically, I experienced absolute stillness. My consciousness seemed to expand, stretching beyond the confines of my own mind, perceiving realities and dimensions that were completely beyond human comprehension. It was exhilarating and terrifying all at once, like my soul was being stretched and remolded, made ready for something new. Brief, breathtaking glimpses of space flashed before me. Not just blackness and pinpricks of light, but stars blazing in impossible colors, nebulae swirling like cosmic paint, and distant galaxies appearing as delicate, glittering dust motes. The vastness of space unfolded before me, an intricate, cosmic tapestry woven with light and shadow. It was a profoundly humbling experience, making all my human concerns, my grief, my daily worries, seem utterly insignificant. Like grains of sand on an infinite beach, the journey was not just a physical displacement, it was a spiritual awakening, a cleansing of the soul, preparing me for something I still couldn't grasp. The swirling colors began to coalesce, slowing their dizzying dance, and gradually, the familiar crimson sphere of Mars came into view. But it wasn't the barren, dead desert planet I knew from pictures and documentaries. This Mars was alive, teeming with hidden energies, pulsing with a subtle light that seemed to emanate from beneath its surface. It was vibrant, mysterious, and far more complex than any scientific data had ever suggested. The final moments of the journey were filled with a building anticipation, a nervous excitement for what lay beneath that reddish crust, for the secrets this ancient world held, and for what role I was about to play in its unfolding story. A gentle deceleration began, and the vibrant, swirling energy of the journey softened around me. The reasons listed were vague, hinting at insubordination and conduct unbecoming. But something felt off. The dates, the language used, it all seemed too neat, too convenient. As she dug deeper, a name caught her eye. a name connected to the Discharge Review Board, a powerful, influential figure known in political circles, a man with clear ties to Mr. Henderson. It was a cold, hard realization that hit her like a physical blow. David wasn't just a random homeless veteran. He was a pawn, discarded after serving his purpose, likely by the same forces that now sought to crush her. This wasn't just about her diner anymore. It was about a deeper conspiracy, a shared enemy who valued profit and power above human lives. Holding the documents, Sarah felt a fire ignite inside her. Selling the diner now would be more than just giving up her grandmother's legacy. It would be a betrayal of David, whose story was now so intricately linked with hers. He had been thrown away like trash, and Henderson saw her in the same light. But she wasn't trash, and neither was David. A firm, unwavering decision solidified in her mind. She would not sell. She would fight not just for her diner, but for justice for David and for her community, which had suffered under the likes of Henderson for too long. The fear that had been gnawing at her for months transformed into a cold, hard resolve. Henderson, likely sensing a shift in Sarah's demeanor, perhaps even hearing whispers of her renewed determination, escalated his tactics drastically. One morning, the power to the diner was inexplicably cut. A notice from the utility company cited unpaid maintenance fees that Sarah knew she had settled months ago. Then came a letter from the city, threatening to condemn the diner due to structural integrity issues. Trumped-up charges, she was sure, designed to force her hand. His actions were no longer just aggressive. They were desperate, showing he was willing to cross any ethical line to get what he wanted. Amidst the chaos of dealing with the power outage and the city's threats, Sarah was desperately searching for any legal precedent, any loophole that could protect her. She spent hours in the dusty attic above the diner, sifting through old boxes of her grandmother's belongings, hoping for a miracle. And then she found it. Tucked away in a forgotten chest, beneath stacks of old menus and faded photographs, was an ancient, brittle copy of the town's original charter. Its pages crackled as she opened it, revealing a forgotten clause about historical preservation and community ownership rights. Under certain conditions, properties deemed historically significant could be protected from development. It was a long shot, buried deep in legalese, but it was there. This clause, overlooked by Henderson in his rush to acquire property, was her unexpected opportunity. It was a lifeline. This combination of uncovering David's past, Sarah's firm decision to fight, Henderson's imagined. The structures were organic and flowing, seamlessly integrated with the natural crystal formations, as if they had grown directly from the planet itself. Buildings glowed with an internal light, resembling intricate living organisms, with soft curves and impossible angles that defied human engineering. The city was vast, stretching as far as the eye could see, a marvel of advanced architecture and biological integration. It was a testament to a civilization that understood how to live in harmony with its environment, creating beauty and function in equal measure. This wasn't merely a city. It was a living extension of the planet. As we moved deeper, I started to see other beings, similar to my guide, moving gracefully through the city. They were tall and slender, their luminous skin catching the internal light of the city, their movements fluid and purposeful. They emanated the same serene energy as my guide, a profound sense of calm and wisdom. They moved with an ease that suggested they were perfectly at home in this environment, a natural extension of its living architecture. It was the clear presence of an advanced civilization, operating on principles far beyond human comprehension. A society that had transcended many of the limitations we still faced on Earth. I felt a profound sense of awe, recognizing the sheer scale of what I was witnessing. A world hidden in plain sight, yet utterly beyond our grasp. The sheer beauty and complexity of the city were almost overwhelming. My senses, already heightened by the journey, seemed to be pushed to their limits. I was perceiving subtle energies and vibrations, colors and forms that I didn't even have words for. It was a sensory overload, yet strangely, it wasn't chaotic. It was as if my own consciousness was expanding to accommodate this new reality, stretching to encompass the wonders around me. The alien guide, sensing my internal struggle, offered a calming reassurance, a gentle mental nudge that helped me process the torrent of sensory input. It was a silent communication, a steady presence that grounded me even as my perception soared. I felt myself adapting, slowly but surely, to this new, incredible world. My guide continued to lead me deeper into the city, towards what was clearly its heart. It was a towering structure, unlike any other, radiating an immense power that I could feel vibrating through my entire being. This central nexus pulsed with a brilliant golden light, a beacon of energy that seemed to be the very source of the city's life and sustenance. A sense of profound importance emanated from this central point. It wasn't just a building, but a core, a vital organ of this alien civilization. I felt a strange, undeniable pull towards it, a recognition of something deeply significant, a feeling that everything I had experienced so far had been leading me to this very place, to the true secret hidden beneath the surface of Mars. My guide led me directly into the central structure, which was the nexus of the entire city. The entrance wasn't a door in any way I understood. It was more like passing through a shimmering veil of light. The interior wasn't architectural in the human sense at all. It was a living, pulsating chamber, organic and fluid. The walls seemed to breathe with a slow, rhythmic motion, and the light within flowed like liquid, shifting from soft golds to deep blues. Soft, resonant hums filled the air, a melody that felt ancient and profound, vibrating deep within my bones. A sense of ancient wisdom and immense power wrapped around me, a feeling of being in the presence of something truly sacred and alive. It was overwhelming, yet strangely comforting, like being held by an enormous, benevolent force. At the very center of this chamber, the source of all that light and energy, was a colossal, glowing orb. It wasn't a machine made of metal or wires, but a natural crystalline formation, radiating pure, untamed energy. It pulsed with an inner light that seemed to draw all the other lights and sounds of the chamber into itself. This orb seemed to be the literal heart of the Martian civilization, perhaps even the planet itself, a living core that sustained everything around us. I felt a profound spiritual connection to it, almost as if the orb was a living entity, its consciousness vast and ancient, somehow communicating with me on a level beyond words. Its presence was awe-inspiring, humbling, and a little terrifying all at once. My guide then projected a series of images and sensations directly into my mind. It wasn't a verbal explanation. It was a direct transfer of knowledge, a download of understanding. The images showed me the true purpose of this magnificent Martian city. It wasn't just a place to live. It was a sanctuary, a vast library of universal knowledge, a repository for cosmic truths. This was a place where information and wisdom from countless civilizations across the cosmos were preserved and protected. They guarded these truths from less evolved civilizations, those not yet ready to handle such power and insight. I understood then that this was a sacred trust, a responsibility that these beings had upheld for countless ages. The weight of this revelation settled on me. This place was far more than just a hidden city. The revelation then shifted, and the focus moved to Earth. Images flooded my mind. Environmental destruction, oceans choked with waste, forests burning. I saw human societies torn apart by division, endless conflicts, and the slow, insidious decay of spiritual values. It was a bleak picture, a future that felt too close to our present reality. A strong sense of urgency was conveyed by the alien, highlighting humanity's rapid trajectory towards self-destruction. The core's energy seemed to resonate with these images, amplifying their emotional impact, making the sorrow and despair almost unbearable. I felt a deep, aching sorrow, recognizing the undeniable truth in the alien's message. It was a harsh mirror, reflecting humanity's darkest path. Then, the alien revealed the existence of multiple timelines, branching paths for humanity's future. Some of these timelines led to oblivion, to a complete and utter collapse of civilization and life on Earth. Others, however, led to a golden age, a period of unprecedented peace, technological advancement, and spiritual enlightenment. The current timeline Earth was on, the alien made clear, was incredibly precarious, teetering on the brink. It was a knife edge, with humanity's choices determining which path we would ultimately take. I understood then that the stakes were higher than I had ever imagined. This wasn't just about our planet. It was about our cosmic destiny. The alien then explained that the dreams, the synchronicities, the recurring numbers, none of them were random. They were subtle attempts by higher intelligences to awaken me, to prepare me for this very moment. They were nudges, whispers from the universe, designed to catch my attention and guide me. My wife's spirit also played a crucial role in this. She wasn't just a memory, she was an active participant, acting as a conduit from the other side, helping to facilitate my journey here. A profound sense of being part of a larger cosmic plan washed over me. It wasn't just my grief or my perception of strange events. It was a carefully orchestrated cosmic intervention. Despite the bleak images of Earth's current path, the alien emphasized humanity's inherent potential for greatness. There was still hope, a seed of light within each human being, a capacity for compassion, innovation, and spiritual growth. This potential, this spark of divinity, was what the Martian civilization sought to nurture and protect. They saw humanity not as a lost cause, but as a young, struggling civilization with immense promise. I felt a surge of renewed hope, a sense of purpose awakening within me. It wasn't just about what we were destroying, but about what we could still become, a future where humanity could truly shine. But the revelation took a darker turn. Images flashed through my mind, a shadowy, formless entity, a malevolent presence. This was an external force, a shadow entity, seeking to manipulate Earth's timeline, to push humanity down the path of self-destruction. This entity thrived on fear, division, and chaos, feeding on negative emotions and amplifying them, pushing humanity towards its downfall. The Martian city, with its glowing core, was not just a sanctuary or a library. It was a defense, a beacon against this encroaching darkness. This was the terrifying truth of what truly lay hidden, not just beneath Mars, but influencing our very existence. This entity was real, and it was a threat. The alien then revealed that the glowing orb, the heart of their city, was not just a library of ancient knowledge or a source of energy. It was primarily a containment field, holding something ancient, powerful, and incredibly dangerous. The vibrant light and pulsating energy that filled the chamber were not merely for the city's sustenance, but were actively suppressing a malevolent force trapped deep within the Martian core. As this truth settled in my mind, a deep, resonating hum from the core intensified, as if to confirm the immense pressure and power it struggled to hold back. It was a prison, and the light was its bars. Through a series of telepathic images, the alien gave me terrifying glimpses of the confined entity. It was not a creature with physical form as we understand it, but a shadowy, amorphous mass, a swirling vortex of pure malevolence and despair. It felt like a void, a place where all light and hope were consumed. The alien conveyed that it was a relic from a forgotten cosmic war, not a biological weapon, but a corrupted intelligence, a consciousness twisted by eons of isolation and dark purpose. The terror I felt was palpable, a cold dread that seeped into my very bones, making my consciousness recoil from the sheer negativity emanating from it. The alien then explained their civilization's millennia-long vigil. They were not just protectors of universal knowledge, but also the tireless jailers of this cosmic horror. Their entire existence, their advanced technology, and their profound spiritual understanding were all dedicated to maintaining this prison, to keeping this entity contained. I could feel the immense weight of their responsibility, the constant vigilance that permeated their being. Their solemn demeanor, which I had initially interpreted as grace, was now clearly understood as the unwavering focus required for such an eternal task. They were guardians, sacrificing their own freedom for the safety of countless worlds. Then came the truly terrifying truth. Earth was unknowingly connected to this entity. The negative energies we generated, our conflicts, our divisions, our environmental destruction, our greed, all of it weakened the containment field. Humanity's collective unconscious, the sum of all our fears and destructive choices, acted as a conduit, a slow, insidious drain on the Martian defenses. Every war, every act of hatred, every moment of despair on Earth chipped away at the powerful seal. I felt a profound, sickening guilt, understanding humanity's unwitting complicity in this cosmic threat. We were not just hurting ourselves. We were endangering the universe. The alien went on to show me how the confined entity subtly influenced Earth. It didn't directly control us, but it amplified fear, hatred, and greed, sowing discord and chaos in its wake. It was the whisper in the dark, the unseen force that pushed humanity towards its worst impulses. These whispers, these insidious suggestions, were the source of many destructive impulses and what we perceived as evil acts on Earth. It wasn't always a grand, overt influence, but a persistent, low-level hum of negativity that fed into our own vulnerabilities. I realized then that the true enemy was not just human nature, but an external, insidious force that preyed on our weaknesses. The situation was dire. The containment field was weakening, and signs of strain were clearly visible around the core. I saw flickers of darkness, momentary disruptions in the brilliant light, indicating growing instability. The alien conveyed a sense of extreme urgency. The entity was close to breaking free. If it escaped, the consequences would be catastrophic, not just for Earth, but for countless civilizations in this sector of the galaxy. The stakes were raised exponentially. The fate of Earth, and potentially the broader cosmos, hung in the balance, resting on the integrity of this ancient prison. In a poignant turn, the alien revealed that my wife's messages in my dreams were not just spiritual comfort, not just a way for her to stay connected. She was an emissary, a warning from the spiritual realm about this very threat. Her love and connection transcended death, allowing her to facilitate my journey, to ensure I received this critical information. Her presence, her guidance, had been instrumental in bringing me to this Martian sanctuary. It was a heart-wrenching understanding of her continued sacrifice and profound love, reaching out from beyond the veil to protect me, and through me, humanity. Her grief-stricken husband was now a pawn in a cosmic game, guided by her eternal affection. Finally, the alien turned its luminous gaze directly to me, a solemn plea in its ancient eyes. I had been brought here to understand, to be a messenger, a conduit for this critical truth. Humanity must change its course, or face the unleashing of this ultimate terror. The weight of this knowledge, this immense and daunting responsibility, settled heavily upon me. I was no longer just a grieving man, but a reluctant participant in a cosmic struggle, entrusted with a secret that could either save or doom my world. The silence in the chamber after this final revelation was deafening, filled only with the intensified hum of the struggling containment field and the echoes of a terrifying truth. The alien then showed me visions of two very different futures for Earth. One path was dark, a continued slide into chaos and destruction. This future led straight to the entity's full release, and the kind of cosmic devastation that was hard to even imagine. The other path, though, was bright. It showed a collective awakening, a massive shift in human consciousness that would lead to a golden age. This choice, the alien made clear, wasn't about what one person did, but what all of humanity chose together. It was a shared destiny. This idea of a collective destiny was tied to something the alien explained about human thought and emotion. They weren't just private feelings, it said. They formed a powerful collective field, like a giant, invisible ocean. This ocean of consciousness was capable of immense creation or immense destruction. Positive, collective energy, things like hope, love, and unity, actually strengthened the Martian containment field, making the prison for the entity more secure. But negative energy, fear, hatred, division, fed the entity, making it stronger and weakening the prison. The thought of all our daily squabbles and anxieties contributing to this cosmic threat was chilling. True salvation, the alien stressed, lay in humanity's spiritual growth. It wasn't about religion in the way we understood it on Earth, but about moving beyond simple materialistic desires. It was about embracing empathy, compassion, and unity. These were fundamental cosmic principles, not just human ideals. As the alien communicated this to me, I felt a deep resonance with these truths, like they were things I already knew deep down, but had forgotten. It felt like an inner knowing was being reawakened. The alien didn't just show me the bad stuff. It also highlighted individuals and groups on Earth who were already working towards this awakening. It showed me glimpses of scientists, mystics, artists, and even ordinary people, all spreading messages of hope and unity in their own ways. These were the seeds of light on Earth, and they were crucial in shifting the collective consciousness. I felt an unexpected connection to these efforts, a sense that I was part of a larger network, even if I hadn't known it before. The Martians, the alien explained, couldn't directly interfere with Earth's choices because of ancient cosmic laws. Humanity had to choose its own path, but they could offer guidance and support. They wanted an alliance of consciousness, a partnership between their advanced civilization and our emerging one. I understood then that I was meant to be a bridge between these two worlds, carrying a message that could change everything. The urgency of time was something the alien kept reinforcing. The window for this awakening was closing rapidly. The entity's influence was growing stronger on Earth, and every act of division, every moment of apathy, pushed Earth closer to the precipice. The weight of this urgency was almost unbearable, a constant pressure on my mind. It felt like a countdown was ticking, and we were running out of sand in the hourglass. I also realized something profound about my own journey. My grief and loss, the very things that had shattered my world, had been part of this awakening. My deep connection to my wife had transcended realms, preparing me for this cosmic mission. Her love, even in death, was guiding me. My personal sorrow was now intertwined with a universal purpose. It was a profound shift in perspective, moving from just my own suffering to a massive cosmic responsibility. Finally, the alien imbued me with a profound understanding, a clarity of purpose that settled deep within me. I was to return to Earth, not just as a survivor, but as a messenger, a catalyst for change. The message was not one of fear, though the threat was real, but of hope and empowerment. It was about humanity's incredible potential. In those final moments, my resolve solidified. I was ready for the journey back, ready to face whatever came next, knowing what I had to do. The silence in the chamber, once heavy with dread, now felt charged with a new, daunting purpose. I took a moment, a final, silent farewell to the Martian city and its guardians. A profound sense of gratitude washed over me for their ancient vigil, for the impossible burden they carried. My alien guide offered a last, comforting thought, a subtle energy that felt like a promise of continued energetic support, a connection that would remain even across the vastness of space. It was a bittersweet departure, leaving behind such an incredible, terrifying truth, a secret that had reshaped my entire understanding of existence. The energetic vessel, which was more of a thought form than a ship, swiftly ascended through the Martian crust, then through its thin, reddish atmosphere. The swirling vortex of light and color returned, a familiar yet still awe-inspiring experience that pulled me through the cosmos. I felt my consciousness slowly, gently, reintegrating with my physical form, a sensation like settling back into my own skin after a very long absence. There was a profound change within me, a new perspective on everything I had ever known. Then the familiar sight of Earth emerged, a vibrant blue marble, beautiful and fragile. The vessel gently deposited me back in my home, in my living room, as if no time had passed at all. The room was exactly as I had left it, every book on the shelf, every picture on the wall, precisely in place, but I was fundamentally altered. My perception of reality was shattered and rebuilt. A lingering scent of ozone, mixed with something indescribably alien, hung faintly in the air, a final reminder of where I had been. I was left alone with the staggering weight of the revelations, the terrifying truth of the entity under Mars, a malevolent force waiting to break free, and the precariousness of Earth's future, connected to its prison. The immense responsibility to share this truth, to warn humanity, pressed down on me. I felt a jarring sense of isolation, knowing I carried a burden that few would ever believe, a story that sounded like madness. The immediate challenge was how to convey such an incredible story. How could I possibly make anyone believe me? The fear of ridicule, of being dismissed as insane, was a real and heavy concern. My mind battled with the internal conflict. Should I keep silent, protect myself, from the inevitable disbelief or fulfill my cosmic mission, the purpose I had been given. But the vivid memories, the sensory details, the emotional impact of what I had witnessed, it was all too real to ignore. It demanded to be told. So, I began to document my experiences. Not just in words, though I wrote constantly, but through art. The symbol I had been compelled to draw before my journey, the one that had appeared in my dreams and in the number sequences, now took on a profound and terrifying meaning. I sketched the Martian city, the crystalline structures, the glowing core, even the fleeting, shadowy glimpse of the entity. I started to connect with others online, people who talked about similar synchronicities, vivid dreams, or strange encounters. It was a slow, cautious process, but I could feel a growing sense of a network, a community of individuals who, like me, sensed something more beneath the surface of reality. My grief for my wife, though still present, hadn't disappeared, but it had transformed. It was no longer a paralyzing sorrow, but a powerful motivator. I felt her presence more strongly than ever, not as a ghost of the past, but as a guiding force in my present. Her love, her connection, had been the catalyst, the bridge. My spiritual awakening was complete, my purpose clear. I was no longer just a grieving man lost in his own pain, but a conduit for cosmic truth, an unlikely messenger for a desperate plea. The memory of the weakening containment field under Mars, the flickering darkness around the core, fueled my determination. I understood that silence was no longer an option. The stakes were too high, the danger too imminent. I had to share my story, despite the risks, despite the disbelief, to awaken others. This was my mission now. The final moments of my time alone, before I decided to speak, were a powerful declaration of my intent. I would tell the world what I had seen, what was truly happening, and what we all needed to do about it. I'm here now, sitting in front of this camera, taking a deep breath. This is it. This is the moment I decided to share everything. I know what I'm about to say will sound unbelievable to many, even insane to some. But I've seen things that have changed me forever, things that demand to be told. I'm not asking you to believe me blindly, just to listen with an open mind, to consider the possibility that there's more to our reality than we've been led to believe. This isn't just my story anymore. It's our story, humanity's story, and it's about our future. Let me quickly recap the core of what I experienced. There is a hidden, advanced civilization living beneath the surface of Mars. They are not hostile. They are guardians. They maintain a vast glowing core that is not just a library of universal knowledge, but a prison. It contains an ancient, malevolent entity, a shadowy mass of pure despair and destruction. This entity was trapped after a cosmic war, and its influence subtly seeps into our world, amplifying fear, division, and greed. The terrifying truth is that Earth's collective negative energy, our conflicts, our hatred, our apathy, directly weakens this containment field. We are unknowingly feeding the very thing that seeks our destruction. The Martian Guardians showed me two paths for humanity. One leads to continued decline, the entity's release, and cosmic devastation. The other leads to a collective awakening, a shift in consciousness, and a golden age where humanity fulfills its true potential. The choice is ours, but the clock is ticking. This isn't some abstract philosophical concept. It's a critical, urgent choice that affects every single one of us, whether we realize it or not. I implore you, look for the signs in your own lives. Those strange coincidences, the repeated numbers like 1111 or 333, the vivid dreams that feel more real than waking life, that gut feeling, that intuition telling you something is off or something is profoundly right. These are not random occurrences. These are whispers from higher realms, nudges from the universe, attempting to break through the noise and wake us up. The universe is trying to communicate with humanity, preparing us for what's to come, guiding us towards the path of awakening. Every single one of us holds immense power. Your individual choices matter more than you can possibly imagine. Every act of kindness, every moment of compassion, every decision to choose understanding over division contributes to the collective good. These positive energies strengthen the containment field under Mars. Conversely, every act of anger, every moment of hatred, every choice that feeds fear weakens it. Each person holds a piece of the solution, a spark of divine potential, a connection to the universal consciousness that can literally shift the balance. You are not helpless. You are powerful beyond measure. We need a global shift in consciousness. We need to move beyond the divisions that plague us, the fear that paralyzes us, and the materialism that blinds us. We need to embrace a shared future, a future where humanity recognizes its place in the cosmos, where we form an alliance not just with the Martian guardians, but with all benevolent cosmic beings. Imagine a world where we've overcome our petty differences, where we've healed our planet, and where we stand united, free from the shadow of that ancient entity. That future is within our grasp, but it requires a conscious, collective effort. I cannot stress enough the continuing threat posed by the entity beneath Mars. The containment Yiden field is weakening. I saw it myself. The flickers of darkness, the momentary disruptions in the light, its influence on Earth is growing stronger, manifesting as increased conflict, anxiety, and despair. This isn't a problem for some distant future. It's happening now, and it's an immediate, existential threat to our entire species. If that entity breaks free, the consequences will be unimaginable, not just for Earth, but for the wider cosmos. My own journey, born from the deepest grief imaginable, has transformed into a profound purpose. My wife's unwavering love, even after death, was the catalyst that led me to this mission. I carry her memory, not as a burden, but as a guiding light. My hope for humanity, despite the darkness I have witnessed, is unwavering. I believe we can choose the path of awakening, the path of unity. My journey is a testament to the extraordinary possibilities that await us if we only open our minds and hearts. This is only the beginning of my story. I have more to share. Many more details about the Martian technology, the entity's history, and humanity's deeper ancient connection to the cosmos. I'm not going to stop talking about this. I can't. I urge you, subscribe to my channel and join me on this journey. The truth is out there, and we must face it together. What I've shown you today is just the tip of the iceberg. What they truly hide and what we must do about it will shake you to your core. Don't miss what's coming next. We have to be ready.